praise Empress Gail.
On everything to love each other. I know you take Gail's side in this matter. You know, Brent, I said, I'm not so sure about my stance on gun rights right now. It seems the whole world is Jesuit, and can you imagine how horrible it is that people like Camila Alves and Lori McBride have the right to bear arms? Really? Well, I'm a Texan like you, so I understand. I can understand how a Texan feels about gun rights, which may explain why I'm not bothered that Gail's book Silver Skies is about gun rights. Well, yeah, gun rights is all about being Texan, but it sure would be nice if Jesuits didn't have gun rights, which they think means the right to use bombs or anything that could be used by a militia to defend themselves. I would agree with Gail if the whole world wasn't run by Jesuits. Brent nodded his head in dismay, but I can't allow the Jesuits to spout the Second Amendment to the Constitution as excuses to terrorize everybody. Matthew sighed. You know, I have some legal training, and one of the reasons I fell in love with Gail is because of her conspiracy law, which I've read from cover to cover. She may not realize it, but much of her law corrects some of the deficiencies in that Second Amendment about gun rights for our modern times. She makes it clear that Jesuits should not be allowed to bear arms. Well, the Jesuits say that her conspiracy law is against the Second Amendment, which I find ironic because Gail's book Silver Skies is all about gun rights. Matthew laughed. You know, I love Silver Skies because I like the character of Dorr. He kind of reminds me of myself, macho Texan and all that stuff. But the world we deal with today is about 90%, 88%, 98% Jesuit, thanks to all their drug rapes and sexual crimes and Nazi propaganda. And so the Second Amendment just doesn't work in a Jesuit-run world with brain control technologies and everybody's mind being read by evil people like them Jesuits. Though the Jesuits rip apart Gail's book, which I think is a masterpiece, they never criticize her stance on gun rights. Yeah, it plays right into their game that Jesuits have the right as a militia to bear arms. Brent sighed. Okay, Matthew, let's get back to the present. You got some Oscar ceremonies to attend, and Camila is sure to show up. Brent, what do you think? I pondered over our conversation. Is the majority always right? Well, there was Noah's flood. Brent laughed. I imagine God was mad because everybody was like Lori McBride back then. I smiled and nodded my head in amazement. God destroyed the majority of the world back then. Was God wrong? 98% of the world is Jesuit? For real? Yeah, drug rapes, clones, Jesuit laboratories, Jesuit sects all over the place. Jesuits have taken over planet Earth. We now have a world filled with dishonor, rampant sexual crimes, lies, nobody keeps their word. You know the deal. Brent, whatever happens to me at those Oscars, I want to come out feeling like a man. Brent laughed. Yeah, the Jesuits know that. They will do their best to make you come out feeling like a worm, or even worse, a monster. Jesuits despise all that is beautiful, honorable, and loving, and they know how to use psychological torture, like they did to all those Jews in the concentration camps under Hitler. There's nothing I can do. I have to live here at Church of Gail to get away from her, to stay sane if I can. Matthew plopped his head into his hands. I get as nervous as hell when I gotta go down there and do my job as an actor. She always finds me, so I try to do everything all at once and get it done real quick so I can scurry back to Church of Gail and get away from her. I guess that's one advantage I have. You see, I don't get much work as an actor. At least it keeps Laurie away from me. I'm living off my savings from when I worked at Star Trek. Camila always finds me when I go down there and I'm not here at Church of Gail. She puts a gun to my back, straps a bomb to my chest, and then rings her damn bell. When I hear that bell, I ejaculate on the spot. She's got me trained like Pavlov's dog. I felt a hand on my shoulder shaking me. Hey, laddie, wake up. I grabbed a bucket and puked. Gerard, I can't do this anymore. It's too painful. Gerard had a cowbell and rang it. I felt my hips thrust forward and I ejaculated, "Oh, it's awful, Gerard. Camilla's got this trained into the deepest recesses of my mind. From now on, when I ring this bell, I'll flash photos of Sarah Avery in front of ye. That should make ye lose your erection." Sarah Avery was a 2,000-pound Jesuit woman. I nodded my head in dismay. It won't work. Camilla's done it to me hundreds of times. I'm trained, like Pavlov's dog. Well, we're gonna try, laddie. Gerard offered me more wine. I trembled and sipped it and started gagging. I think I'm stuck. Perhaps ye should let your clone make all the appearances? Oh, no, I said. That would finish Gail and get her written off as crazy for sure. I want to show up, just to show the world I really love Gail. Perhaps I can do something while I'm with Camilla that will let the world figure out the truth, that it's Gail I love and not Camilla. Ye can always go on the Gabriel Fox News Channel and explain why you didn't go to the Oscars. No, I hate that clone. He has so humiliated me. It's bad enough that he had a public wedding with Camilla and signed a marriage license to her in my name. Yeah, that was devastating. Gerard caressed my back. I feel for ye. I really feel for ye. My Hollywood friends are all furious because their clones got invited to that wedding. Camilla made it seem like all my Hollywood friends approve of her for me and that they all showed up at our wedding. That bitch has her butt covered. Gerard offered me some wine. I guess for my nerves. My hands trembled, and I put them down to my side. Then thought, what the hell, he's my psychiatrist, and reached for the wine and sipped it. Camilla threatened to blow up Gail's car if I didn't appear at all these award ceremonies with her. Brent got up to leave. Brent, you can stay. I think we can use you to help out Matthew, since your Laurie is very much like Camilla. Brent remained in his seat. Yeah, but Brent's not as famous as I am. That's a real problem, and he's never won an Oscar. I rolled my eyes in disgust and threw up my hands. I feel like I want to die. I just know Camilla will be there at all the award ceremonies, and I'll have to deal with her. I decided to be a real man and showed up at the Oscars without Camilla. She tricked her way into the Golden Globes and all my other appearances, forcing me to appear with her to accept awards for the Dallas Buyers Club performance. But I now had the best security team from Church of Gail and managed to get into the limousine with my mother and without Camilla. I wanted to show the world that Gail was the queen over my heart and make an appearance without Camilla at the Oscars. In between appearances at all these events, Jesus teleported me into heaven along with Brent Spiner, Vladimir Putin, Gerard Butler, Hugh Jackman, Keanu Reeves, and Terrence Jenkins. We were all building a wonderful house for Gail's stepdad, Bill Fuller, in heaven, who Jesus told us would die shortly. With me being in heaven and feeling like I was invincible in that heavenly body, I took on new courage and never totally lost heart over Camilla, even though she always seemed to outsmart everyone, even Jesus. I was a little stumped that Jesus would allow me into heaven to build a house for Gail's stepdad, but not allow me to stay away from Camilla when I returned to earth in between my heavenly visits. Hey, Jesus, I said to him, while working on the house and laying down some gold bricks, why won't you stop Camilla? You know I can't stand her, and I have to return to earth to make all these appearances for that award that I wish I never won. Jesus grabbed my arm and wept with me. I know it's rough, Matthew. Just trust me. It'll work out all right in the end. It's so awful back there with Camilla. It's hard to leave heaven to go to those awards. Makes me feel like I've jumped from heaven into hell each time I go back to earth. Jesus embraced me. It's going to work out, Matthew. Trust me on this. I hate it. Why did you bring Camilla into my life? I smiled. I love it here, Jesus. Can I stay here and not go back to deal with Camilla? I didn't bring Camilla into your life. Sorry, Jesus. Jesus wept and helped me with some bricks and didn't say anything. I apparently hit a nerve with him when I accused him of bringing Camila into my life. I decided to drop the subject, but got this strange idea that perhaps Jesus would do a miracle for me at the Oscars, and I'd be able to show up without Camila somehow, even though she foiled all my attempts to appear without her at the Golden Globes and all the earlier award ceremonies. I got into my limousine for the Oscars, my heart high, because Church of Gale bumped up their security for me, and so far I had not seen Camila. But when I got into the limousine, Camila was inside. Oh my God, Jesus, where are you? You send me to heaven and back for this? I turned to look at my mother, and she frowned. The Jesuits had apparently used some sort of teleportation technology, and Camila teleported into the limousine using Star Trek-like technology, breaking through our shields. That damn Jesuit technology! We could never keep up with them. Camila nudged herself next to me and dug her nails into my arms. Okay, here's the deal, my little kitten. You act like you're happy to be with me and smile for all the cameras, or I'll just blow up the whole event. A big smile spread across her face. Boy, will this be an Oscar night to remember. I rolled my eyes and looked away from her, feeling like a rattlesnake just bit me. My heart was pounding. She always made me feel like such a failure. She shoved a photo in front of my eyes, revealing a box full of kittens and bunnies rigged with explosives. Would you like to see this blow up before your eyes and then explode the entire auditorium? She cackled and laughed so hard. I felt ready to vomit. Oh, Jesus, I thought, what had this bitch got me into now? These are our babies from all that glorious sex you've given me. You certainly don't want to see them get raped and die, do you? She kicked a leg up into the air and laughed so hard. And then the whole auditorium will come crashing down over our heads. I imagined that the Jesuits would teleport her out right before the explosion, like how she teleported into my limousine. God damn, woman! How do you Jesuits come up with such filth? Well, we have to think of something that's hard to believe, or else we can't make your Gail seem crazy when she tries to expose us. Yeah, all them damn lies you put out in those trash Jesuit tabloids and magazines and all that crap. You Jesuits think you own the universe, don't you? Well, I just came back from being with Jesus, and you ain't gonna win, woman. Camilla's nails dug so hard into my arms. She broke some skin, and I jerked my arm away. I fumed and refused to look at her the whole time we were in the car. At least in the car I could be myself. I felt her nails dig harder into my arm. Hey, bitch, you dig those nails any harder and the whole world will wonder how I got my injuries. I've started bleeding. We just healed the damage. I looked down and saw the wounds close over, and looked at this bitch like she was Satan himself. It was like nothing I did could stop her. It was time to get out, and I used method acting to pretend that it was Gail with me and not Camila. The thought of the Oscars blowing up and me dying along with the kittens, the bunnies, and my friends made me give a performance at the Oscar, which should have been my real Academy Award. Apparently acting runs in my family, 'cause my mom did a respectable performance herself. We must have made the bitch happy. When I was finally seated towards the front, oh, horrors, in front of everybody, Camila leached onto me with her fingers. Right before the presentation for Best Supporting Actor, Camilla's hand clawed over my testicles, giving them a squeeze. She whispered in my ear, "Now behave, my little cow, or I'll steal more of your milk." I grabbed that hand with mine from underneath and shoved it back onto Camilla's lap, since they were about to make announcements for the winner and the cameras would be all on us. I knew by putting my hand over onto her lap, I could force her to remove her hand off of my testicles by forcing her to keep her hands on her lap to make it look like I was holding her hand on her lap. I had my hand over Camilla's hand on her lap with my palm facing up.